Howdy folks, John here. In today's DIY video, we're going to be building a Jacob's ladder. Now these things were very popular back in the 50s and 60s sci-fi and horror film movies. My favorite recollection of one, however, is from Star Trek, the original series, one of my favorite episodes, The City on the Edge of Forever. And that's the one where Spock and Kirk go back in time. Spock has to build a computer aid to extract information from his tricorder, and they used a Jacob's ladder as one of the props in that contrivance he built.
What on earth is that?
I am endeavoring, ma'am, to construct a mnemonic memory circuit using stone knives and bearskins.
So if you've kind of been interested in building one of these or just want to know more about them, let's get into the build. The heart and soul of your DIY Jacob's ladder is going to be your high voltage power source. Now there's several options you can go with. One of the lowest cost and easiest to find are oil furnace or oil boiler ignition transformers. And as the name suggests, these are used to supply high voltage to two little electrodes inside the boiler or furnace. A spark gaps the electrodes to ignite the fuel. Now you can also get neon sign transformers. They're even better if you can find a really high voltage old school one. And you can also find little kits to build your own high frequency, high voltage generators. But to make a good old school Jacob's ladder, it's best if you just get an old step-up transformer. 10,000 volts, 23 milliamps, probably not going to be enough to kill you. The current is just too low. These are fairly safe, but there's a golden rule when working with any high voltage source, and that's always to keep one hand in a pocket. So if you do actually get zapped, it's just going through your hand and not through your entire body. And that's generally what will stop the old ticker from functioning. So again, I can't stress enough that this is a dangerous DIY little project. If you're not comfortable around voltage, and certainly around high voltage, don't do it. You'll light yourselves on fire. But if you want to take a little bit of risk, it's fun. Now the other type of igniters are these newer electronic step-up transformer types. The problem with them is they will burn out. They're not made for sustained sparking like the old school step-up transformers. I got this originally just because I didn't know any better. It was about half the price, and yeah, it worked for about 5 minutes and crapped out, and that was the end of it. And after doing a little more research, yeah, these are not meant to be continually sparking a Jacob's ladder. Now to wire these high voltage igniter transformers up, it's very simple. They've got two wires coming out of them. That's your line voltage in. So this is just a cord hooked up to the wall outlet that I've got switched off right now. And I'm just going to put this solder tip base on there just to make sure these don't short out against each other. And we will power up the power bar. Okay, so this thing's live now. Have one hand in your pocket, or just make sure you're only working with one hand here. So to test these out, it's humming right now. I've got a well-insulated screwdriver, and we'll just see if we can get a spark jumping. As soon as you get the screwdriver fairly close to the terminal, start sizzling. It's just the air is ionizing around it. Actually, you can see a tiny little spark. And as we bring this closer and closer, we'll get to a point where we get a spark jumping the gap. So we know that's working. If we wanted to actually test the voltage output, which I'm kind of curious about, I've got my high voltage probe here hooked up to my multimeter. We're in the AC scale because this is putting out AC. Because it is an AC output, an AC waveform, we're going to roughly see 5,000 volts on either terminal because it's measuring the peak-to-peak voltage as its maximum output. So let's just see what we've got here. So this one's putting out, for every volt Oops, for every volt that the probe is showing on here, it's actually reading 1,000 volts. So we're getting 4,470 on this terminal and 4,640 on that one. This isn't a true RMS meter, so it's probably putting out very close to 10,000 volts. That's all I wanted to know. Oh, let's see what the frequency is. Because it's just a basic old school step-up transformer, it should be putting out 60 hertz. The same input frequency that it's getting from the wall outlet, and yes it is. Now, to build your Jacob's ladder, it can be as simple now as taking these springs off your little screw terminals here and getting whatever rod you're going to be using, coat hanger, copper, wire rod, welding rod, whatever, and make some little mount for it, and you can have them mounted right to those screw terminals. I'm going to make an enclosure for mine. You could make an enclosure out of wood. You can buy little electronic project enclosures, but I'm going to make mine on Tinkercad and 3D print it. Speaking of transformers, I forgot to mention it when we were discussing what type of transformers to use. I was reading a lot of people think you can use a microwave transformer to build a Jacob's ladder, and no. There's two problems with that. One is they just don't put out enough voltage. They put out about 2,000 volts, and that's just not enough to create a spark between that little air gap. And the second most important reason not to use them is they output a lot more current, 500 milliamps and up, which is definitely enough to kill you. So don't use microwave transformers. One, they won't work well. Two, they're a lot more dangerous than these ones that are only putting out, around 20, 25 milliamps. Now you can build or purchase your own standoffs. I'm going to build mine out of some aluminum bar stock here. You can of course buy brass standoffs that are already threaded in different diameters and lengths. But I just wanted to build it. A little more fun, and I can make them exactly the way I wanted. Now you can make your standoffs any size you want, but just for reference, if you want to know what I did, these are roughly 35 millimeters in length, and I've got the rod standoff from the base hole, the bottom basically 25 millimeters. As far as the rods that I'm going to be using for the Jacob's ladder, I just found these out in the junk pile. They're 3.75 millimeter in diameter. Yeah, you could use anything though. People use coat hangers, welding rod. These are about 24 inches, 60 centimeters long right now. I don't know how long I'm actually going to make them. I've just got my standoffs and my rods mounted on a piece of wood just to see if it works before I start figuring out what size of enclosure to make for everything in the top. I'll plug it in. Wow. Awesome! And this is kind of why you want an old transformer as well. It gives it that nice 60 hertz buzz. High frequency won't give you that cool buzz sound. I just took the top cover off so I could bang these down with a hammer and not damage the transformer inside. Nothing really to see inside here. Transformer is covered by a bunch of potting compound, and there is a grounding strap here and a grounding screw if you wanted to ground the transformer case. Probably not a bad idea. If you're curious what AC power draw is for your input switch and wire sizing, right around 2 amps. Pretty low. So here is the enclosure that I've tinkered together on Tinkercad. I've got supports for the transformer. I should mention I drilled holes in the plates of the transformer on the one end. So these holes are matched to those holes I drilled. And I've put all these holes in here a little bit for passive cooling. The transformer does get a little bit warm, but more to just save on filament and print time. It's a long and thirsty print at just over 500 grams, but hopefully the end results will be worth it. Okay, the enclosure box and lid have finally finished printing here. Came out not too bad. I thought I'd just quickly go over the other components that I'm going to be using on this build. Links will be in the description if you wanted to build something exactly like this, but again, build it for yourself. So obviously we've got our step-up transformer, already gone over the little standoffs, and our steel rods that our spark will climb up for our Jacob's ladder build. To power the transformer, I'm going to be using a C14 power receptacle that goes in the back of the enclosure. Going to need a C14 power cord, of course. I'm going to be turning it on and off with a little toggle switch. This is rated at 125 volts at 5 amps. I was debating whether or not I should even have a switch on the unit. It's kind of dangerous because, of course, you're going to be in close proximity to the electrodes when you're turning it on. You could have a switch right on the cord, or don't even have a switch, just have it power up when you plug in. On the front, I'm going to have a little LED idiot light because sometimes you can power it up, and if the spark doesn't immediately jump and it's just sitting there sizzling or whatever, these could be live without really knowing it's turned on. So I thought an idiot light for the idiot in charge here would be a good idea. Just using a green one, you could use blue, red, whatever color you want. So now that we've got all our parts, let's start having some fun and putting this together. Moment of truth time. Ugh. It's a heavy little bugger. Oh, it's that transformer. Okay, plugged in, power bar turned on, switch is off. So our idiot light should be off, which it is, meaning it's hopefully safe. Yeah. No barbecue. Turn on the switch. Lights on. Sparky spark is going. Woohoo! So definitely a fun little prop to build. If you've ever wanted to build one, as you can see, it's not that hard, but you have to keep your wits about you. And this is just my method of building it. Again, there's different ways you can do it, but it came out not too bad, and I'm quite happy with it. If you're wondering how these work, there's lots of information online how that spark actually travels up. Basically, the electricity takes the path of least resistance, which is right at the smallest gap. And the air is ionized, of course, superheated. Well, it's actually plasma. And that heated column of ionized air rises, so the spark just keeps following it up. In fact, if you tilt it, so there's no more rising air, the spark just hangs on the electrodes. You can actually see the heat waves coming off of it. And these rods actually get pretty hot after it's been running for a while. And any air movement will also affect it. Like if you blow it, you can blow it out. You can blow the air down so it doesn't rise. So fun little prop to build, and didn't cost much, fairly easy. Again, links are in the description if you wanted to check any of this stuff out and build your own. Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you in the next one.